about these high-powered offenses. I don't know enough about football to understand. Why don't more schools try to do that on offense and then do, what we do, for example, on defense? I mean, why can't you have both?
Combine them. Have that best of both
It seems
worlds.
like when you see these teams that have that shootout type of offense, that high-scoring offense, what goes along with that is their defense is also horrible.
Their defense becomes an afterthought almost
and I don't
team,
understand why it hasn't happened yet that we see a team that does both.
Well, Leach, maybe
he's
offensive coordinator for Iowa.
Available.
Make sure you clean out that closet down there over at the practice station because we're gonna stick some kids in the closet.
We want to remove it. We'll have any electric lighting.
That's right. We don't want them to get electrocuted or anything like that.
We want to make sure that it's.
I will welcome them on board. Because it's dynamic and the guy doesn't take any guff. That's obvious. So, okay, listen. We have a caller on the line, Johnny. It's our good friend Tim Rogers.
Yeah.
And so once again, it's time for our little section that we like to call Tim Weighs In.
Tim, you there?
I'm there. How are you?
Hi, Tim.
Hi.
Tim, what video game does your theme song come from anyway?
What does my theme song come from?
Yeah, have you watched the show and actually heard your theme song?
I don't know the theme song.
I'll tell you, I can answer that question, John, because I put this together. Tim's theme song actually is cribbed from...
Zelda?
Not Zelda, from Rambo.
Ooh.
Rambo. The NES 8-bit version of Rambo. It's a little theme that's in there that I just thought would be perfect because Tim is a fighter. He's a tough guy.
All right.
But, So
I thought
Tim,
it was Zelda, which reminded me of when I would go over to Tim's house when I was probably in junior high school.
Right.
Oh, I'd go over there on
Nintendo, brand
Sunday.
new, high tech.
He'd be playing Zelda. And I just hated it.
I
He'd
hated
just sit there and
Zelda.
play Zelda all day.
I
I'd
love
just watch
Zelda,
him.
man. I love Zelda.
I'm
Or
sure it was-
Metroid or Castlevania.
Yeah.
Castlevania, man. Now that's a good one. Metroid 2. I'll give you all three of those, Tim.
Yeah. So, hey, you guys ready? Are you excited?
I'm excited. John's a little nervous as usual, but I am very psyched. Tim, what are your thoughts on the big game?
I am very excited. And, I know John has had this little anxiety since the matchup was determined. And I'm telling you, John, I know where you're coming from, but we've had a month to prepare. It wasn't like in your two examples that you're going to cite, Michigan and Northwestern, when they had those guys running like that. We weren't ready for that. We're going to be ready. Those were the second teamers coming in. We're ready. Nothing's going to surprise us.
That's good, Tim. I like that. And what I was saying is, what I feel in my heart is that it's going to go down like that Wisconsin game where we are just going to go in there and physically control these guys. We are going to be tougher. I think we're going to be bigger and stronger.
We're just going to wear them down.
Right.
And you know what? Like every game, let's not fool ourselves. It's going to be a close game. We're going to be on pins and needles all game. It's going to be tight.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Georgia Tech puts up 7 points real quick. That wouldn't surprise me. And then we'll just come back slinging and fighting like we always do.
I think that's very astute, Tim, because what I feel is that the first 5 minutes of this game is going to be crucial. What happens in that first 5 minutes? And if something bad happens, we just need to stick to our game plan. We need to put our heads down and just get in there and fight. And I think, like you said, I think we can wear them down. But make no mistake, I think you're absolutely right. They're going to come out, they're going to throw the kitchen sink at us. And we just have to weather that storm. I think the first 5 minutes are going to be crucial. If we can stop them, with a three and out at some point on their first drive, I would say look out because these guys we're off the races, man.
And you know what? I don't want to return the opening kickoff for a touchdown because we tried that last time in the Orange Bowl. That didn't work out so well.
Yeah,
so
let's
get a nice, a good solid return. I'm really interested in seeing how Stanzi is ready to play. I hope he, even with the time off, has actually had a chance to make a little progress and just come ready to play from the get-go.
Loosened up.
To this day, I want to go back to what you said. This may not be the time to bring it up, but I tell you what, that 2003 Orange Bowl to this day bothers me. I really believe it is a game that has been mischaracterized in Hawkeye lore as a game that we were really blown out in. I really believe that game is mischaracterized when you dismiss it as that. If you remember, that game was tied 10-10 at halftime.
The first half, we were
doing
fine. We were really doing fine.
Two things happened in that game. Iowa had a 1st and goal inside the 5-yard line twice. And we came away in the first half with 3 points. Nate Kading, who won the award for the best kicker, Groza Award that year, shanked. Never happened. Extra point length field goal. He missed it right before halftime. There was another time that they stopped us and we had to settle for a field goal inside the 5. Now, if we punch those two into the end zone, that's a totally different game. And I really believe that people forget that game was tied at halftime and it was a closer game than you might think.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I agree completely. Unfortunately, it was our inability to punch the ball in the end zone. Hi, Clancy. Good night. Sorry.
It bothers me when people describe that game as a total blowout.
It wasn't.
I don't think that tells the whole story.
Yeah, it was one of those things where, and I remember clearly watching that game as well, and it was sort of like we were playing a little bit cowed. It seemed like maybe they were a little bit scared, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
And they were sort of waiting for USC to make some big move, and when they finally did, it was kind of like a straw that broke the camel's back effect. And I hate to say it, but I really do feel that we kind of did roll over in the second half of that game. We kind of quit a little bit.
The other thing that happened is we kind of pushed the panic button in that game.
That's what I mean.
We went to having to throw the ball because we got a little behind, and that got away from what our strength was.
Exactly.
But hey, lessons learned. Lessons learned for this time around in the Orange Bowl.
And Frentz has been talking a lot about exactly what you just said, Timmy. The lessons that he took away from that loss, and how they conduct themselves when they're down there. It's a business trip, primarily. It's not a pleasure deal, So anyway, Timmy, it was great to talk to you, buddy. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you.
Go Hawks.
All right. Well, I was just happy to weigh in today, boys.
Yeah, we would love to have you. We'd love to have you, Tim.
All right.
Love to have you.
Tim, try to give me a call during the game tomorrow.
Okay, will do.
All right, Timmy.
Thank you.
Good night.
Okay, good night.
That's right. I remember I was living in Vegas during that time, and my brother had come to visit me. We went down, they have a Hawkeye bar in Vegas. It's called the Hog's Farm Nest, something like that. The Hog's Nest, maybe. And they have Hawkeye stuff up on the walls. During the Hawkeye games, they have free hot dogs, free chili every game, free food. And everybody in that place was going nuts. We were very excited. We were very key. There was one guy drunk at the bar who would not shut up and hated the Hawkeyes. And basically just made it intolerable for everybody in the bar because, being Iowans in general, we're very polite people, and we're not going to go and confront this guy. But I remember, I went over to this guy at halftime, and I was like, what are you doing, man? Why are you in here being this guy? Who wants to be this guy that everybody in the bar hates? Really sort of let him have it, and then immediately after that, the team kind of tanked. And it's like I kind of put the two and two together a little bit. But
that makes me think when you said that.
I should have just taken the higher road.
It makes me think that same season. I don't know why we're getting stuck on that season tonight, but that same season, of course, our only loss prior to that was Iowa State.
Yeah.
Now in that game, and I thought of this because of what you said was. I couldn't get to my seat in that game because that was a game I specifically remember that the aisleways at Kinnick you couldn't even see where they were. It looked like a massive bowl of people in there because it was so overstuffed. It was as if they oversold the stadium or a bunch of people got in that didn't have tickets. It was chaos in there. I could not get to my seat in the first half. I watched the first half from a television monitor by a concession stand.
Right.
We were dominating.
Yeah.
Well, at halftime, as people exited to go to the bathroom, what did I do? Took my seat.
You took your seat.
And it all fell apart.
You messed up. Yeah. Okay, so let's listen. We're making a resolution right now. We're not talking about that season anymore. We're talking about the game tomorrow.
All right.
And what we got on the phone is our other buddy from Denver, Skeebee. And so let's have a little Skeebee's Keys to the game. Hey, Skeebee.